Welcome back to our channel on this beautiful day. We are absolutely thrilled to bring you the latest, most dramatic deep dive analysis into the glamorous yet treacherous world of Los Angeles fashion. Today, we are unpacking a stunning twist that promises to shake the very foundation of the Forrester family. Let's dive straight into the heart of the drama unfolding at Forrester Creations. Forrester Creations has officially transitioned from a prestigious house of haute couture into a brutal, unforgiving battlefield. The once hallowed halls, originally built on the foundational pillars of family unity and creative expression, are now echoing with the destructive sounds of endless corporate warfare. Steffy Forrester Finnegan has ruthlessly solidified her iron-fisted reign as co-CEO, systematically dismantling the Hope for the Future line and pushing Hope Logan Spencer to the absolute brink. The resulting fallout has been nothing short of catastrophic. Hope, driven by a toxic cocktail of vengeance and despair, has officially resigned, leaving a gaping void in the company's youth demographic. Meanwhile, Brooke Logan Forrester, consumed by a fierce, almost blinding ambition, has spent her recent days launching a hostile takeover attempt for Steffy's executive seat. The collateral damage of these warring factions has been immense, but no one is suffering more profoundly than the patriarch caught directly in the crossfire, Ridge Forrester. Ridge is a man fundamentally broken by the relentless demands of the women he loves. He is, at his core, an artist, a dressmaker who finds his true peace in the quiet sanctuary of the design room, surrounded by fabrics, sketches, and the pure essence of creation. However, his current reality is a living nightmare of boardroom brawls, tearful ultimatums, and bitter family politics. He is utterly exhausted, his spirit drained by the endless, cyclical war between his wife, Brooke, and his daughter, Steffy. Every single day presents a new crisis, a new demand for him to choose a side, to validate one woman's pain at the expense of the others. He promised Brooke that Hope would always have a secure home at Forrester Creations, a promise that was violently shattered when Hope walked out the door. The crushing weight of his own inadequacy, his cowardly inability to force a lasting peace, has left Ridge feeling paralyzed, alienated, and desperately yearning for an escape from the suffocating toxicity of his own life. It is precisely within this suffocating atmosphere of despair and profound emotional exhaustion that the door to the CEO office slowly swings open. Ridge, rubbing his temples to ward off an impending migraine, expects to see another furious combatant, perhaps Steffy arriving to gloat over Hope's departure, or Brooke storming in to demand retribution for her thwarted co-CEO ambitions. Instead, the universe delivers an entirely unexpected, yet dangerously alluring distraction. Shauna Fulton steps into the room. She does not arrive as a superficial old acquaintance merely passing through. She arrives as a highly calculated vision of deadly charm and intoxicating serenity. Dressed impeccably, her presence immediately shifts the atmospheric pressure in the room. Shauna is a master of reading the emotional currents of the men around her, and one look at Ridge's defeated posture tells her absolutely everything she needs to know. The dressmaker is drowning, and she is fully prepared to be his life raft. Unlike the women currently dominating Ridge's life, Shauna does not carry the heavy, burdensome baggage of corporate entitlement or familial demands. She does not care about the fate of the Hope for the Future line, nor does she have a vested interest in who occupies the co-CEO chair. Her entrance is a breath of fresh, albeit intoxicatingly dangerous, air. She glides across the office with a lightness that sharply contrasts with the heavy, oppressive energy of the Forrester building. Shauna offers a warm, sympathetic smile, her eyes filled with a gentle understanding that completely disarms Ridge's natural defenses. She is not there to ask him for a promotion. She is not there to force him to discipline his daughter or soothe his wife's bruised ego. She is simply there, offering a soft, unburdened presence, and more importantly, a shoulder to lean on for a man who has been carrying the weight of the world for far too long. With masterful precision, Shauna softly steers their conversation away from the toxic realities of Los Angeles and back toward a time when Ridge felt truly free. She gently reminds him of their whirlwind, infamous escapade in Las Vegas. That period in Ridge's life was a chaotic but strangely beautiful rebellion against the constraints of his destiny. In the neon-soaked streets of Vegas, Ridge was not the besieged patriarch of the Forrester dynasty. He was just a man, free from expectations, free from the endless bickering of the Logan and Forrester women. Shauna evokes the memories of those peaceful, uncomplicated days with a nostalgic reverence. She paints a vivid picture of a time when Ridge did not have to constantly choose between his fiercely loyal daughter and his eternally demanding wife. In Vegas, there were no sides to take, no corporate empires to manage, and no broken promises to mend. There was only the present moment and the effortless, uncomplicated companionship that Shauna so expertly provided. This nostalgic reminder is a potent, irresistible poison to a man in Ridge's fragile psychological state. The seduction of peace is far more powerful than any physical temptation. As Shauna speaks, her voice a soothing melody amidst the cacophony of Ridge's recent life, he finds himself inexplicably drawn to her light, calculating free demeanor. He looks at her and sees an oasis in the middle of a scorching, unforgiving desert. Shauna does not judge his failures. She validates his exhaustion. She strokes his ego not with grand declarations of eternal destiny, but with simple, quiet affirmations that he deserves to be happy, that he deserves a moment of rest. Ridge, desperate for any semblance of tranquility, allows himself to lean into her comforting embrace, both literally and metaphorically. The walls he has built to survive the Forrester-Logan wars begin to crumble under the weight of Shauna's gentle, unwavering support. The tragic irony of this burgeoning emotional affair is that Brooke Logan Forrester is entirely oblivious to the imminent danger threatening her marriage. Brooke is currently entirely consumed by her own insatiable thirst for power and her desperate need to assert dominance over Steffy. She is spending her days strategizing, plotting, and raging against the injustices she feels have been inflicted upon her and her daughter. Brooke is so deeply entrenched in her corporate crusade that she has become completely blind to the emotional chasm widening between her and her husband. She mistakenly believes that because Ridge ultimately slept with her and allowed her to send a diplomatic text to Steffy, their marriage is secure. She assumes that her destiny with Ridge is an impenetrable fortress, failing to realize that while she is busy fighting for a title on the door, another woman is quietly, effectively fighting for the man sitting behind the desk. Brooke's current trajectory makes her vulnerability to Shauna's interference even more profound. Brooke recently committed a massive act of hypocrisy, essentially betraying Hope's trust and abandoning their shared crusade against Steffy just to secure her own romantic standing with Ridge. She sacrificed her daughter's career on the altar of her marriage, only to leave that very marriage unguarded. Brooke's energy is frantic, combative, and inherently exhausting. Whenever she interacts with Ridge lately, it is to complain, to demand, or to strategize. She is inadvertently pushing him further into the welcoming arms of a woman who asks absolutely nothing of him. Ridge is subconsciously comparing the two women, his wife, who represents conflict, pressure, and endless drama, versus Shauna, who represents escape, serenity, and unconditional acceptance. It is a dangerous comparison that threatens to rewrite the history of the Forrester family. The dramatic tension building within the walls of Forrester Creations is palpable, a ticking time bomb waiting for the inevitable spark. It is only a matter of time before Brooke discovers the terrifying truth that her old, bitter enemy is slowly but surely claiming her husband's heart. When Brooke finally witnesses the undeniable intimacy between Ridge and Shauna, perhaps catching them in a vulnerable embrace or overhearing a tender conversation about their Vegas memories, the resulting explosion will be nothing short of nuclear. Brooke will go absolutely crazy. The sheer audacity of Shauna Fulton returning to encroach upon her territory will ignite a fury within Brooke that will make her corporate battle with Steffy look like a minor disagreement. Brooke's possessiveness over Ridge is legendary, and the realization that she has been outmaneuvered not by corporate strategy, but by simple, quiet affection will drive her to the edge of sanity. To understand the magnitude of the impending fallout, one must remember the deep-seated, venomous history between Brooke and Shauna. Shauna is not just a random interloper. She is the woman who previously managed to marry Ridge in a drunken Vegas ceremony, a woman who actively conspired with Quinn Fuller to destroy Brooke's life. Brooke views Shauna as a low-class opportunist, a grifter who uses her sexuality and manipulative charm to steal what rightfully belongs to the Logan matriarch. The fact that Ridge is once again falling prey to Shauna's tactics will not only infuriate Brooke, but it will also deeply insult her. She will view Ridge's emotional reliance on Shauna as the ultimate betrayal, a devastating slap in the face after all the sacrifices she has recently made to keep their family together. The battle lines will be redrawn, shifting from the boardroom directly into the bedroom. Adding another layer of complex intrigue to this unfolding drama is the potential reaction of Steffy Forrester Finnegan. Steffy currently holds the ultimate power at Forrester Creations, having successfully vanquished Hope and retained her co-CEO title. However, Steffy has always harbored a deep, fundamental resentment toward Brooke. If Steffy catches wind of Shauna's return and Ridge's obvious attraction to her, she might quietly encourage the distraction. Steffy knows that a Brooke distracted by marital jealousy is a Brooke who is not actively plotting a corporate takeover. Steffy might view Shauna as a highly useful pawn in her ongoing war to keep the Logans marginalized within the company. The dynamic of Steffy potentially turning a blind eye, or even subtly facilitating Shauna's access to Ridge, would add a deliciously wicked twist to the family politics, further alienating Brooke and isolating her within the Forrester empire. As the days progress, Ridge will find himself trapped in an agonizing internal conflict. He knows, logically, that entertaining Shauna's affections is a dangerous game that will inevitably shatter his marriage to Brooke. He knows the history of manipulation and the pain it caused. Yet, the emotional starvation he is currently experiencing makes Shauna's presence an irresistible addiction. Every time Brooke raises her voice to complain about Steffy, every time the pressure of the company threatens to crush him, Ridge will find his mind wandering back to the soft, understanding gaze of Shauna Fulton. He will begin to rationalize his emotional infidelity, convincing himself that he is merely seeking a friend, a confidant who understands the unique pressures of his life. But in the soap opera world, emotional affairs are the deadliest of all, planting seeds of doubt that quickly blossom into full-blown betrayals. The Bridge marriage, long heralded as an unbreakable destiny, is currently resting on a foundation riddled with massive structural cracks. The war over the co-CEO position, Hope's devastating resignation, and the constant, suffocating tension have weakened the bonds of their love. Shauna Fulton's unexpected return is not just a minor bump in the road. She is the massive, driving wedge that threatens to split this fractured marriage wide open. Shauna provides the exact emotional nourishment that Brooke is currently too angry and too ambitious to provide. By offering a sanctuary of peace in a world defined by war, Shauna is systematically dismantling Ridge's loyalty to his wife. She is proving to him that love does not have to be a constant, exhausting battle, a revelation that could fundamentally alter Ridge's perception of his destiny with Brooke. In conclusion, the landscape of Forrester Creations is on the verge of a seismic shift. While the executives battle for control of fashion lines and corner offices, a much more insidious and devastating war is being waged for the soul of Ridge Forrester. Shauna Fulton's deadly charm, her weaponized nostalgia for Las Vegas, and her brilliant offering of unconditional peace are perfectly calibrated to exploit Ridge's current state of profound exhaustion. As Brooke remains blindly obsessed with her own power, she's unwittingly leaving the door wide open for her greatest rival to walk in and steal her husband. The dramatic atmosphere is thick with anticipation, and the internal motivations of these iconic characters are hurtling them toward an inevitable, explosive confrontation. The fallout from Shauna's return will echo through the halls of Forrester Creations for years to come, proving once again that in Los Angeles, the most dangerous weapons are not corporate contracts, but the soft,